Matchup between the Staples Wreckers and the Canaan Rams. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the playing of the Star Spangled Banner.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to New Canaan High School at Dunning Stadium for today's FCAC boys matchup, Tier 1 between the Rams of New Canaan and the Wreckers of Staple High School. Welcome, everybody. Myself, PJ Neville. Next to me, his first time on the mic here on NCHS Athletics, Tucker Stevens. Tucker, it's a pleasure to have you up in the booth.
Same for you, PJ. I'm super excited to be up here in the booth with you today and watch this highly anticipated matchup between Staples and New Canaan.
Yeah, and I mean, these are two very talented teams. They met twice last year. The Rams pulled the first one out during the regular season at Staples by a score of 5-1. The defense played phenomenal. Meanwhile, the second time around, probably New Canaan's worst game of the year when Staples destroyed them in the FCX semifinal. So this is going to be a good matchup tonight. And our matchup to watch just quickly, it's going to be on that defensive end for New Canaan. It's going to be Bryce Leiden versus Adam Udell. Adam Udell can single-handedly win this game for the Wreckers if he so chooses. It's going to be tough if he gets shut down by Leiden, so that's definitely going to be our matchup to watch.
Yeah, Michigan versus Michigan there. That'll be a great matchup. You know, the New Canaan defense is really strong and the Staples offense is really strong. And I think that it's really going to be one in the battle is going to be the New Canaan Rams, their attack versus UNC commit Staples goalie Josh Marcus.
Definitely, because, I mean, this Staples defense is not what we've seen in years past. It is a very, very kind of weak defense, but they have the best goalie in possibly the nation to rely on. So it's going to be a tough task to get past if you're the Rams. So on the face-off, you have Jake Davis, the senior, facing off against JT O'Neill. O'Neill, a Colby commit for the Rams. Future Mule. As they're going to say that O'Neill jumped and Staples is going to get the ball first. It's number 14, Max Hill, the sophomore. Now it's down low. That was Clark behind to Pillai.
Over to Udell now.
It's up top with Fleming. Fleming, the senior, will take the ball to X, being defended by Will Sullivan for the Rams. Fleming dodges up the pipe. He'll get top side. That shot goes wide of the cage. Staples will be back there to retain possession. It's going to be Udell being defended by Leiden here. Udell on his left. Leiden with a good lift. Pillai step down, shot off the crossbar. Now it bounces out to the midfield. It's going to be Schwartz. He can't pick it up. There's a scrum for the ball, and Laddick's got it with a quick little break of his own.
Gets
Henry
the touch
Laddick.
there.
He'll take the touch, pull it back out. Being defended by Bear Swearingen.
Campese with the ball.
Campese send it across to Reed. Reed pulls it back to his left and will settle down the offense. Give it down low to Rogan Low. Now with Laddick behind. Laddick up to Campese. Campese through to Roeder. Rotor back to Campese. Dodging against the short stick of Hill. Hill will keep him outside. Campese's shot hits the outside of the cage. Marcus will pick it up in the crease.
Little mom goal there, action there, PJ.
Yeah. It's going to be taken in by Schaefer. Tristan Schaefer off to Adam Udell. Udell settling the ball along the wing. He'll give it up top to Cam Pryor. Pryor, a Tufts commit. Off to Halke. Halke across to Wheel. Wheel back to Halke up top, defended by Mazza. Now it's Pryor. Back to Halke. Recker's just moving this around. Now it's Wheel initiating the dodge on Brooks Wunderlich. He'll send it down low to Clark. Clark pulls it out. Will go back down the alley. He'll look inside. That pass couldn't connect to Pryor. Now it's Pillai who will pick it up. Off to Halke. Halke down the alley. The slide comes from Roby. Now Pryor up top. Cross to Pillai. Wreckers open up the middle. It's going to be Udell trying to work against Leiden. Leiden getting all of it. He strips the ball loose. Udell somehow still got it back. Leiden right on him. Now it's Pillai up to Pryor. Now Wheel trying to initiate from the wing. He'll send it behind to Clark. Clark being defended by the short stick of Connor Mazza. Clark rolls back. Leiden slides. Leiden suffocating Charlie Clark here. Now up to Cam Pryor. He'll settle it down, trying to dodge on Brooks Wunderlich. Off to Pillai. Cam Pryor sets the screen. Leahy good on defense there. Back up to Pryor. Pryor dodging down the alley. He'll give it off to Halke. Halke behind now with Udell.
This is really what we talked about earlier, PJ. You know, Staples really working on offense and Buchanan on defense, and this is where I think the game's really going to be won, is who can pull out here and then on the other side as well.
So that ball was picked up by Bryce Leiden after a bad pass from Udell.
Buchanan on the
Leiden.
clear.
He'll give it across to Braden Roby. Roby back off to Cam Leiden. Cam will send it to his brother Bryce. Now Bryce moving through the D zone. He'll get into the attacking zone. He'll pass it off to Rogan Lowe. Lowe will gain the zone defended by Bear Swearingen. Then pass it off to Laddick. Laddick defended by Nesic. It's going to be Matt Reed up top, defended by the short stick of Justin Halke, the offensive midfielder. So this is a matchup to look out for. Reed's probably going to want to capitalize on this one. Reed initiates the dodge. He'll give it down low to Rogan Lowe once again. Lowe rolls back. He'll get up top, and that shot looked like it got tipped from Marcus. It's going to go out, and it's going to stay with the Rams. Matt Reed's going to pick that up. Looked like maybe it was Halke who kicked it. Reed dodges. He'll look out in front. Rogan Lowe, and oh, that nearly went in. But Josh Marcus just in time got that. It was going across the goal line. Now, in transition, it's going to be Nate Marullo. Marullo off to Halke. Halke lead a hit from Matt Reed. He'll pass it off. Now it's Clark. Clark defended by Roby. Clark overhand shot. That one's saved by Cam Leiden. Now Roby aggressive on the ground ball. I'm going to say that it's staying with Staples.
I think Roby tried to hit the ball into Udell there and get it out of bounds on Udell.
It's going to be Udell, defended by Bryce Leiden. Udell rolls back. Oh, and that one.
I got that in.
I think they're going to say
that
was in the crease, though. I was about to say. Leiden went. He tried to go for the takeaway check when Udell rolled back. But Udell was able to get the edge. That was Leiden was talking about that in practice this week, actually, when we were going over the game plan. I am a JV player, but we did practice with Varsity this week, so that's how I know that.
PJ, you're up and coming. Don't worry.
I'll be there someday. It's going to be behind with Laddick. Laddick defended by Nesic. He'll give it up top to Mayock. Harry Mayock taking the short stick of Tristan Schaefer behind to X. Schaefer, Colgate commit, but for Omity. So he's kind of in a little bit of an opposition here as Gray Wildman on the phenomenal dodge, and he'll get it past Marcus for the first goal of the game. Wildman, just a freshman. He's been playing phenomenal this season. He had 6 goals against Somers, and he's got the first one on the board here today for the Rams.
Yeah, you love to see that at New Canaan, feeding the freshmen there. They got a senior, junior, and freshman on that lineup, so I think it's just a really good combination there. Laddick, kind of the senior veteran, taking control, and then controlling with the younger guys.
So phenomenal goal there from Gray Wildman. So now we have our second face-off of the game. This one, it's going to be JT O'Neill against Eric Skolnick, the junior. Staples, they do rotate Fogos as Skolnick wins that one there. Don't see that too often against JT O'Neill, but he loses it immediately off of the check. Hayes, somehow or another, still has the ball. And I think we're going to get a timeout from Coach Chip Buzzio and the Rams. So that timeout coming from Coach Buzzio. And while we have a moment here to talk about it, right, Coach Buzzio and Coach Kashansky are very good friends. Coach Kashansky used to be the defensive coordinator here at New Canaan High School. Before, it was Coach John Carrozza who took over after him when Coach Kashansky got the job at Staples. And then now for the Rams, it's Coach John Harvey, who also knows Coach Kashansky very well. They're both involved in the Eclipse program. And Coach Harvey actually, I believe he did a pretty good job against them when he was at Ridgefield last year as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, PJ, I think from the start we've really just seen, a lot of transition game being played, but once the teams get the ball in the offensive zone, it's been a lot of kind of slow, steady dodges, running through your plays, which I think is a really strong way of doing things.
And this has been a good game so far. I mean, very back and forth, but I mean, like we talked about, right, it was that matchup of Bryce Lyden and Adam Udell, Michigan on Michigan, that has been kind of, taking the show so far.
Yeah, and they've been going at it all game, and I think it's really interesting to see. They'll be teammates next year up at Ann Arbor, but right now, I wouldn't say rivals, but definitely a good one-on-one matchup that we get to see here today.
And Staples, Coach Harvey talked about it in practice that Udell, like I mentioned at the start of this broadcast, Udell, he could definitely beat this Rams team, but if they're able to take him away, it's going to be very tough for Staples to get something done. As now it's Campese on the restart. He'll take a screen from Roeder, get top side, going down the alley. Cole Campese, easy save for Josh Marcus. That's why he's headed off to UNC. Is now Cam Pryor with the quick, fast break. He'll settle it down, defended by Campese. Cam Pryor rolls back in the middle. The shot goes high of the goal. And it's going to be Charlie Clark on the restart. Clark will send it off to Udell. Udell up to Halke. Halke defended by Campese. Though he's an offensive mid, he's very good on the defensive end as well. Coach Buzzio might need to use him both ways next year, as it's going to be behind with Wheel, defended by Will Sullivan. It's behind the pass to Halke, and Halke buries that one. Justin Halke, the junior, he nets that first one for the Wreckers, and now we're all knotted at 1.
Yeah, that was a great play there run by Staples. We see, I think, Udell comes around, and then Halke just came right back around, followed him, and it was a nice, easy goal for him.
Yeah, that was a great play. I haven't actually seen that one before, but that was a great play out of the bag of tricks of Coach Kashansky and the Wreckers. They'll knot it at 1 with 4:30 left to go in the first period, first quarter of action. So now it's going to be O'Neill once again on the face against Jake Davis. O'Neill will win it back to himself. He'll pick it up. O'Neill, phenomenal on the face-offs. Probably, he was first team All-State last year, and not really anyone knew burst on the scene. So O'Neill, I think it's safe to say he's the best face-off man in the state.
Yeah, Colby commit. He's not afraid to take a rip too and shoot the ball.
Yeah, he does. He does have a pretty good shot. I think he should put it on the ground a little more often, but that's just me. I think he's still got a great shot, as it's going to be up top with Mayock. Mayock being defended by Schaefer. Mayock will pass it off to Roeder. Finn Roeder working on Max Hill. He'll send it off to Matt Reed. Reed down the alley. He'll give it behind to Wildman. Wildman looking to dodge once again on Marullo. Give it up top. Now it's Roeder. Roeder gives it back to Mayock. And Wildman setting up the dodge on Marullo from the wing. He'll take a screen from Mayock, then cut right back down. Wildman will take it behind Dax. He drew the double. It's now up top. Mayock fakes a shot.
Shot there by Roeder.
Yeah, it's loose. Rogan Lowe will get there as, he almost gets taken out by Max Hill. Looks like he went for his knees there. That was a little
Controversial there, PJ.
As it's going to be Laddick on the rollback. He'll roll back once again to Wildman. Wildman with the hitch. He'll pull it out, and he'll get the short stick matchup of Schaefer. Gray Wildman puts it down the alley.
I think we're going to see some more of that Wildman matchup there.
Yeah, Wildman, he's been phenomenal so far. I mean, you could definitely make an argument for him being the Rams' best attackman to this point in the year.
Yeah, and Murillo's really putting up a strong fight with him, too.
Yeah, as it's going to be Matt Reed off to Finn Roeder. Roeder to Campese. Campese with the short stick of Schaefer on him. Going to send it behind with Rogan Lowe. Lowe will take a screen from Campese. His shot
just
will
wide.
Go wide, but Laddick's there for the chase. Now it's Laddick.
Trinity commit.
Defended by Nesic. Laddick puts it in his right. He'll give it up top to Roeder. Roeder off to Wildman. Wildman dodging down the alley. He'll give it behind Rogan Lowe. Now Campese. Campese rolls back. He'll look. Oh, and that was
picked
great.
off by Murillo.
Murillo with the phenomenal stick. Now Staples trying to push it in transition. He'll give it off to Udell. Udell gets a touch. He'll just send it behind to Pillai. Pillai dodging on Leahy. Udell up top with Schaefer. Schaefer defended by Matt Reed. Reed playing a little aggressive here. I'm sure the Rams on defense communicating to go early, especially with a short stick. As it'll be passed behind to Udell. Up top now, it was Fleming. Now setting up the dodge is Frankel.
Mazza on the defense there.
Mazza, very speedy player for the Rams.
Great two-sport athlete.
Shut that one down. Yes, a football captain in the fall. One of your teammates, Tucker. So now it's going to be Fleming setting up the dodge. Maybe not. Maybe he's just holding it against Matt Reed.
Getting some new legs on the field. We just see Cam Pryor hop on the field for Staples.
As it's Fleming down the alley. He'll pass it behind to Udell. Udell defended by Hayes here. Udell shot. Stick save.
Great save there by Leiden.
That one was stick side high. Easy for Leiden. So now this is brother Bryce Leiden. Send it right back to him. It's Braden Roby on that far side top of your screen. Cam Leiden over to Bryce Leiden. Leiden moving into the attacking zone with his left. He scored against St. Joe's. He'll pull it out here, give it off to Rogan Lowe. Leiden didn't think he had the lane. Now with 20 seconds left to go in the quarter, Laddick initiates the dodge. Give it behind to Wildman. Rams holding for the last shot. Wildman up to Mazabras. Brady Mazabras on the hitch. He'll draw the double. He's got 5 seconds. They've got to go. Rogan Lowe rolls inside the shot, and it's outside the cage, and that will do it for the first quarter of action here from Dunning Field at New Canaan High School. Scores 1-1, all tied up in this FCAC Tier 1 matchup. And Tucker, I'll ask you a couple questions here while we have a little bit of a break. This New Canaan team, the offense has been settled. They probably have controlled the possession so far, especially in that back half of the quarter. What do you think they got to do to actually get it done?
I just think they need to take some more times, and I feel like they're, they're taking things really slow right now, and I think their transition game has been really well. I just think that maybe experiment with some new plays out there. They've been kind of running with Wildman from the wing, and I think it's been working for them. But I think giving some new looks, because that Murillo Wildman matchup has been really strong. So I think just give some more guys some looks on some dodging, maybe up top with some of the middies. Like you got Campese and Roeder, who are very strong players.
Yeah, and then defensively for the Staples team, they have played very strong. The offense, however, has not gotten the looks that they've wanted. Of course, Adam Udell, who is the main conductor of their offense, is being shut down by Bryce Lyden. So they're really going to have to turn to these other guys like Hulky, who has one already. But I think, Hunter Pillai, he's a sophomore. He had, I think, 3 goals in that Ridgefield win. He played a very good game. I think they've got to turn to him a little bit, working against either Ryan Leahy or Chase Harden, whoever they Rams have in for this quarter. It's going to be Harden, who likes to lay the boom a little bit more. So maybe that's not as favorable of a matchup for Pillai, who's a very speedy player, but he lacks a little bit of size. So I think that matchup for the Rams is going to serve them well.
Yeah, definitely. We see Harden coming in now, high point commit, just as strong. Him and Leahy definitely switch off a fair amount, but both just very strong players that can get it done. I think they have different styles of play. I'd say Leahy's more that strong defensive player, while Harden is got some legs on him, and which could pay off more on some clears.
So it's going to be JT O'Neill on the face-off against number 12, Eric Skolnick. Looks like O'Neill won that one. So loose in the midfield. And
still fighting
still
for it.
Still a battle for it, yeah. Looks like Schwartz. Oh, he's
Schwartz
gonna
comes
come
up with it. Fast break here for the Rams.
4-on-3 break. Schwartz walking down Main Street, and he buries it. Blake Schwartz, the two-way midi, nets that one. Bottom right corner on Josh Marcus. And the Rams go up 2-1. That was a phenomenal shot by Schwartz. Offside low. Can't get better than that.
Yeah, Schwartz is a great two-sport athlete. Again, another football guy, defensive back with Mazda. And, that's just what we want to see out of him, the two-way athlete. And, I was just talking about how we need to run some, the fast break game will pay off, and it just did right there with Schwartz.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal goal. Just played in the JV game with his little brother Tyler. Shout out Tyler. I think he's sitting down there with his boys.
How'd that JV game go for you guys, PJ?
We won. I got a couple of minutes.
What was the final score?
I think 10-7 maybe.
There we go.
Yeah. I went in at 10-5. I got a penalty. So.
O'Neill here
scored on the following man down. So. But, yeah, O'Neill wins the face-off. He's going to flip it off to Laddick. Laddick taking it down the alley with his left. Defended by Nesic.
Nesic is another really strong player for Staples defense. I actually used to play Express Lacrosse with him back in the day. He's a very strong player.
So it's going to be Wildman here, defended by Marullo. He'll take a screen from O'Neill, draw the double. That one off the crossbar into the New Canaan bench.
Second one off the crossbar. We've seen one for each team now.
So now I guess both squads breaking even here as Campese was there on the chase for the Rams, so they'll get the restart with Matt Reed. Reed being hacked by Shane Sandrew. That's Rogan Lowe up to Roeder. Roeder to Campese. Campese back to Roeder. Dodging on Hulky. Roeder down the alley. Referee blows the flag. Not sure. It looks like it's going to be on Sandrew.
Not really sure what he was calling, but he kind of just threw the flag with New Canaan possession still. And
I think that's... Yeah, ref shouldn't have blowed that whistle, at least. That should have been a delayed penalty for the Rams.
Yeah, PJ, what have you seen so far this season? Not really sure what, how's the New Canaan man-up unit looking, and do you know if there's what they should be targeting on this right now?
This is a phenomenal man-up unit. They have played very well so far this year. They like to kind of get the cycle going on one side of the field. Normally, it's kind of this close side to us at the bottom of your screen watching at home. They like to get the cycle going and kind of get a look for Campese on the wing. I think that probably could work, especially with the short stick of Max Hill kind of right there on Campese, but Staples probably has scouted that pretty well, I would assume.
Yeah, and Hill's
they get into it right now.
Hill's definitely the guy you want there. You got your one short stick on the field. I think he's one of the strongest players defensively on the team, even with the short stick in his hands.
Roeder off to Campese. Campese down to Laddick. Laddick to Wildman, back to Laddick. That was kind of the look they were looking for with Campese. Is Matt Reed no look pass to Laddick. Oh,
great
phenomenal
save by Marcus. We're even again.
Josh Marcus, 101.
That's what you see there. As you said earlier, one of the best goalies in the nation, if not the best. Great save there by the UNC commit.
You don't see that every day. As now it's Rogan Lowe dodging. He'll get top side. His shot gets blocked. He's dodging on number 38, Alex Kovics. I think
timeout New Canaan.
I think they called the timeout on the referee pointed at Staples
there.
I think it was New Canaan ball, so I don't know if that's allowed. I don't know. But anyways, we do have a timeout. So during this time, you know, these seniors, it's their final games here on Dunning.
Yeah,
Speaking of seniors, senior assassin Tucker.
Senior assassin did not go my way, PJ.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Rob Frangione got me.
Yeah, fellow commentator. I don't think he's done any lacrosse games, but he did a couple football, some basketball maybe. But yeah, you know, got taken out by kind of one of your own kind. You're not necessarily in the class, but you still are, you know, one of the school's commentators. So
yeah.
A lot of these guys still in. I don't know if anyone's actually out on the lacrosse team. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know. I think kind of the odds right now are on Chase Harden and Patty Sachs.
Yeah, they've been looking great. They got two kills and assassin.
And they know who their target is. So
they do. And
look out for.
Hudson Kenny just got out right before the game, walking into the locker room, unfortunately. So.
That's unlucky.
Hopefully his partner, Ronan Hillman, another lacrosse guy, can pull through there for him.
So it's going to start behind with Henry Laddick. He'll be defended by Nesic. Laddick on the restart. He'll take it off into the corner. It's going to be Roeder setting up the pick. Laddick gets top side. He'll send a shot, but that one goes wide.
PJ, that's another great matchup we have there. Is Laddick versus Knesic. I just think we got the Wildman versus Murillo one, and then I think that's another great one that we're going to see some more of tonight.
Rogan Lowe lost the ball there, defended by Sandrew, but Roeder was right there to pick it back up as the Rams will go to kind of a cloud set, if you call it, as Rogan Lowe, the phenomenal pass, but
great
got
trail
broken
check
up
there.
by Swearingen.
Was that Swearingen or? Yeah, Swearingen.
Yeah. Now it's behind with Laddick, defended by Knesic. It'll be Laddick who pass it up. Oh, great stick by Matt Reed. He'll give it off to Campese. Campese setting up the dodge from up top. He'll hitch again. Now go down the alley, pull it back to his right, and pass it off to Roeder. Roeder will get up top. Pass it off to Wildman. Wildman back to Roeder. Defended by Cam Pryor. Roeder down the alley with his left. He'll take the shot. That one wide. But Rogan Lowe's right there. The Rams getting some good possession here. Just haven't been able to net it. They've held the ball for practically this entire second quarter. Maybe this entire second quarter. I don't even know if Staples has gotten the ball. It was Wildman. It was a good trail check there by Marullo. Now Campese working against Hill. He gets taken down. Wildman pass right out in front. Matt Reed. Oh,
just
that
high.
one goes high. Looked like Sandrew might have gotten a bit of it. But that was a phenomenal defense. Just desperation from the Wreckers. The Rams are getting some phenomenal shots. The Wreckers, just when they need it, are able to convert. As Matt Reed will look up. Wildman on the hit.
Off
that
the
one
post.
hits outside. Oh, maybe that hit the post. I wasn't really. It's a hard angle to see because that's the far side of the goal for us. So it's going to be Roeder. We'll fake the pass. Now he'll get up top. Roeder, his shot goes wide. And once again, the Rams will restart it from behind. This is getting a little bit repetitive here.
Been seeing a lot of different options, though, here, which is, I think, a great look for the Rams, kind of seeing what's working out. You see Roeder right there. Roeder, the Holy Cross commit. Not one of the fastest guys on the Rams team, but really strong and has a great shot. He can go both ways.
As Campese's lefty shot. Oh, that hit off of Matt Reed. Roeder can't pick it up. It's loose. It's above him. Now it's Cam Pryor who will pick it up. He lost it. And Max Hill trying to wheel this one out. He'll look up to Marullo, and the Wreckers will get the clear. Marullo walking down Main Street. He'll give it off to Clark. Clark to Palai. Now with Udell. Udell's shot. That one's saved by Cam Lyden.
Cam Lyden, another Michigan commit. So we got 3 Michigan commits down there, all working against. We got the Lyden brothers together, and then we got Udell against them.
It's gonna be Clark. He'll give it up to Schaefer. Schaefer off to Fleming. Fleming looking to maybe set up this dodge against Will Sullivan. He'll take him behind. This is kind of the cloud set that I was talking about that the Rams were running. As the quick slide comes from Roby.
That's a similar play to what they scored on earlier.
Oh.
Feeding it around.
Yeah, that one.
Looks like Sullivan got there.
Yeah, the Rams were back there. Sullivan will be there for the restart. He'll give it off to Lyden. Lyden will step out of the crease and begin to walk it up. He'll give it off to Roby. Roby back to Cam Lyden. Now off to Bryce Lyden. Lyden makes a nice move. Oh, but he lost
the
it.
ball. Here comes Udell.
Udell moving down.
Can't pick it up.
Can't pick it up. Now it's loose. It'll be grabbed by Staples.
That could be a costly mistake by Udell.
Yeah,
there.
that was.
Lyden wasn't even in the
goal. Yeah,
Lyden wasn't even in the net when he could have gotten it originally, and then unfortunately, he just couldn't pick it up, and that's costing these big games, PJ.
Now Lyden moving through the midfield. The flag flies. The Rams will have a delayed penalty. Looks like they're going to hold on it, set up the offense. But, I mean, Staples, what could have been a goal is now, you're going to have to play man down a little bit. I'm sure Coach Kashansky's going to start working on ground balls in practice with the attackmen. So now it's Laddick dodging. He'll pull it back. Look off to Lowe. Lowe to Chris Cuesta. Cuesta will hold it. Give it to Mayock. Mayock dodging on Fleming. He'll take it behind to X. Mayock off to Wildman. Mayock will set the screen on Marullo. Wildman dodging up the pipe. He'll give it off to Laddick. Laddick looks off to Cuesta. Cuesta the lefty. Give it off to Lowe. Now Rogan Lowe gives it behind to Mayock. Mayock back to Lowe. Mayock setting the screen for Lowe. He'll take it behind, look off to Laddick. Laddick on the dodge. We'll give it to Wildman. Now Wildman down the alley. Gets tripped up a little bit. Give it off to Lowe. Lowe to Mazabras. Mazabras defended by the freshman Finn Edwards. It's going to be Cuesta. Down low with Mayock. Mayock off to Rogan Lowe.
Rams really taking it slow right now.
Yeah, they are taking their time, looking for the best shot possible.
From the start of the game, we really saw Staples with the ball for the first probably half of the first quarter, and since then, I feel like the Rams have been, dominating offensive possession. Like that flag is still down, and we're still even.
It's been like 2 minutes.
But this is where we said the game was like going to be biggest, right down here.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be Wildman on the dodge. He'll roll back, give it to Mayock. Mayock dodging, he'll get top side, go down the alley. The slide comes quick. That one probably could have warranted another flag. I think that might be.
Laddick.
As Laddick out front, he'll bury it. Henry Laddick with the goal for the Rams. Their third on the day. He gets it by Josh Marcus. Phenomenal dodge by Henry Laddick.
Senior Trinity commit. Laddick is a great athlete, great student.
I think it's going to be man down here still. So, yeah, the penalty will stay in the box. So,
1 minute penalty, gentlemen. 1 minute. Okay.
So it's a 1 minute penalty. And if O'Neal wins this faceoff, the Rams could get into their man up with probably a good 45 seconds left.
Yeah, we've really seen, that New Canaan offense really paid off there. These long shifts they've been taking, and eventually, if you find the net, then you get the ball right back and just keep running the same thing, drain the clock. 3-1 Rams.
So O'Neal wins the faceoff. Schwartz will get it, and Coach Buzzio will call his second timeout of this first half with 3:54 left in the second quarter. His Rams currently lead by a score of 3-1. They have 50 seconds of man-up time.
Gentlemen, no one is allowed on the field at halftime. Please stay off the field at halftime. Thank you very much for your cooperation.
So it's going to be a timeout here. Tucker, anything you want to talk about during this break? I don't know. Not much.
I feel like we've kind of gone over it. It's been a
Yeah.
really kind of slow so far, which I think is definitely what we talked about, and it's working out for the Rams right now. PJ, what do you see on the Staples side of things? Is there anything that you need to see out of them offensively besides just getting the ball over the 50?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think, of course, they need to settle down the ball a little bit more. Definitely value their possessions, but I think also, really when they're dodging and when they're setting these screens, they're doing it to look for a pass, to look for one more, and they're trying to find kind of open spots on the crease. But, they really should be dodging to dodge and get to the goal and look for opportunities, which I don't think they've had much of.
I feel like they got to explore some other options too. It's even though he doesn't have the goal, Udell's kind of been their one look so far, and I just feel like we need to see some more options there from Staples because we haven't really seen the full look of what their other guys can do.
So it's going to be restarted behind with Wildman. Now it's Rogan Lowe. He'll give it behind to Wildman. Now Laddick on the wing. Roeder off to Campese. Campese to Wildman. Back to Campese. He'll step in, give it off to Roeder. Now Matt Reed down low with Lowe. And Wildman on the cut. Oh, that one.
Another save.
Saved by Marcus. He is just making these saves that he should not be making.
This game wouldn't be as close as it is right now
easily.
without Marcus.
I mean, I guess that's why he's the top commit in the nation, top goalie in the nation for a reason.
Makes sense.
As Campese steps in, he'll give it off to Roeder. 5 seconds left on the man up. Roeder steps in. He'll just let one rip. Marcus with the save. Now it's loose in the midfield. Hill moving through the midfield. The Wreckers have a quick break. Campese gets back there to stop it. And now Udell trying to dodge on Leiden. He'll get topside. Look out in front. And Halke buries it. His second of the game for the Wreckers. And they're right back in this.
Yeah, 3-2 here. Holke's really been putting up a show so far. And, he couldn't have done that without Udell. Udell's a great player. And I think he has both assists now, which is, you got to get it done some way. And if that's like the look they're looking for, I think they should keep going with it.
So it was a phenomenal play there. I think what kind of broke it open was Hill. He had the fast break, and he passed it off to Udell. And I think the Rams were kind of just anticipating that Udell was going to settle this down. But, I mean, you've got a 3-on-3. You've got so much field to work with. Why not dodge? I think that was probably what was going through Adam Udell's head is.
O'Neal wins another one here.
Yeah, O'Neal wins another one, but Udell, he had all the field he wanted, and he was able to do that. The slide came, and Halke was sitting wide open on the doorstep. So now it's going to be Hayes. He'll pass it off to Laddick. Hayes, he does have the long stick, but he is a phenomenal player even with that.
He's got a great shot. I remember last year their game against Darien. It was a great game. And Hayes just had an absolute rip from like the 30 right at the restraining box and let it go. It was a great shot.
Laddick takes a screen from Hayes. Looks like he wants to dodge almost. He does have the Fogo on him. Coach Buzzio calling for him to come off.
Hit a little hitch move on him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's going to be Low behind. Being defended by Swearingen. And now it's Matt Reed, defended by Cam Pryor, the short stick. Reed will pass it up to Wildman now with the Roeder on the wing. Behind back with Lowe. Lowe will take a screen from Roeder. Oh, phenomenal screen there. Able to draw the switch. And now
it's a good matchup here.
Campese dodging over top. Campese shot and he buries that one. Cole Campese with his first on the day. Goes low on Marcus, and he'll bury it.
Yeah, Campese, he's a junior, Denver commit, but, he was on the team. He started last year for the Rams, and just a really fast player that can get it done. So now 4-2 Rams. We got 1:29 left in the second quarter.
Campese, the phenomenal goal. And I think that's the one thing about Josh Marcus. He's phenomenal up high. I mean, he could practically save everything. But down low is where teams have beaten him in the past, and that's where the Rams are beating him today. So it's going to be on the face-off, Skolnick against O'Neal. And O'Neal has dominated the face-off dot. Wouldn't be surprised if a little later on Staples pulls the face-off.
Got a fight here. Looks
It's
like
going to be a hold.
Hold on O'Neal.
I mean, maybe I jinxed it there because
Another
Staples picked that up. Oh,
PJ?
but Hayes with the phenomenal takeaway. That's got to be a hold. Yeah. Oh, what? They're going to call it on New Canaan. That
looks
was,
like Hayes had his
looked
stick
like
in,
Hayes' stick
in there,
was
but he had
set.
his other hand up trying to tell the ref that he wasn't doing anything.
So it's going to be Pryor who settles that one down.
Interesting call there from the ref.
Yeah, that was, my penalty was a hold, too, in that JV game.
Oh, PJ.
So
Unfortunate.
It's
Only penalty I ever get is kicking out of bounds, which I try not to do.
It's going to be Pillai, defended by Harden. Back off to Halke as the Wreckers have not possessed this ball very much in this entire second quarter. I'm sure they're kind of holding it to give their defense a break.
I feel like Staples should just try to get as many shots in right now as possible.
Yeah.
You got 30 seconds left, but we haven't seen their offense too much. Their 2 goals were, I feel like they've only taken like 3 to 5 shots the entire game. So I think we just need to see some more looks. I understand what they're doing here, but I just think we need to see more looks out of this.
Oh, phenomenal
Staples
defense
offense
by Schwartz, and that's going to be a Ward on Halke. Schwartz will pick it up with just about 20 seconds to go.
Schwartz has to use those swings it over to Harden.
Harden.
Over to
Out
Sullivan.
to Sully. He'll grab it. Oh, that's in the helmet.
Flag down.
Flag is down. The Rams probably going to hold this for the last. Yeah, they're just going to hold it so that they start with the ball.
Great job
in the
there by
second
Sullivan.
half. So when we come back from the half, the Rams are going to be man up, already up 4-2 in this phenomenal FCAC Tier 1 matchup. Don't go anywhere on NCHS Athletics. We'll be back to you for the second half from Dunning Field very shortly.
What are the flags in flag football?
Welcome back here, New Canaan High School's Dunning Field for the second half action between the Rams of New Canaan and the Wreckers of Staples High School. Currently the Rams lead by a score of 4-2. Now the Rams will start man up after the penalty that ended the first half. It's going to be Finn Roeder up top.
I will hold it for 2 seconds.
Top.
Hold it for 2 seconds, then start.
Top of your screen, the Rams wearing their white jerseys with the black numbering going from left to right on your screen. Meanwhile, the Wreckers in their navy blue with white numbering. It's going to be up top with Roeder. Now Rogan Lowe across to Henry Laddick. Campese steps into one. That one goes high, but
It's a good take there by
Lowe,
Campese.
Yeah, that's the look that they're looking for.
You know, that's what the Rams were going with. You know, for the whole first half, it was just a lot of different looks, and I think it really paid off for them. You know, we've seen numerous different guys scoring for the Rams, and I think, you know, they should just stick with that.
So it's going to be Laddick. He'll give it off to Wildman. Back up to Laddick. Laddick to Campese. He'll step in. Give it off to Roeder. Roeder to Matt Reed. Reed back to Roeder. Roeder to Campese. Now Laddick. Rams really working the cycle here. Campese steps into one. That one, a low save from Josh Marcus. Campese with the good lift on the ground ball will be picked up by Roeder with just about the end of the penalty coming.
I feel like you got to get a little closer in on Marcus on your shots.
Yeah.
You know, even though Campese's a great shooter, you know, Marcus is such a great goalkeeper. You know, it's very hard to score from that distance on him.
So it's going to be Wildman. He'll take the screen from Roeder. Step into one. That one off the crossbar once again. Oh, Roby couldn't keep it over. Ref probably should have called that one there, but
I
think it's going to go out of bounds.
Staples ball.
It's going to stay with Staples.
You know, now for the Rams, we got Jack Kroll, the sophomore in net.
Yeah. They call him the crowbar because he's always stealing goals from the opponents.
Three-sport athlete, hockey, football, and lacrosse.
Some say he's the chosen one. I mean,
he might be.
Yeah. If you're varsity starter at all,
at all three as a
sports,
sophomore,
yeah.
2 of them as a freshman too. It's very impressive from Kroll. Excited to see where he ends up after this season.
It's going to be Clark out in front to Udell, and Udell buries that one right on the doorstep. Adam Udell with the goal. And now all of a sudden it's a 1-goal game, and Staples gets right back into this.
Yeah, there we go. Udell finally nets one for the Wreckers, and I'm sure the Wreckers are going to try to build off that going into the after this face-off, continuing on.
So on the face-off, it's going to be Skolnick against JT O'Neill. And all of the Wreckers' goals so far have been right on the doorstep. They have not been taking too many outside shots. As O'Neill can't get it.
Wins that.
He finally does.
Got
have a whistle.
I think Udell released early before the ball was picked up.
But it doesn't really change much as the Rams still have possession. It's going to be Wildman. He'll get a touch. The Rams will settle it down, just holding the ball. It's going to be Rogan Lowe over to Laddick. Laddick up to Campese. I think the Staples bench is barking at Campese.
Interesting there from the Wreckers.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their way of getting in other people's heads.
This Roeder gets top side on Schaefer. He'll give it off to Campese. Campese down low to Laddick. Laddick will dodge up the pipe. He'll draw the slide.
Roeder here guarded by number 91, Tristan Schaefer.
As Marcus with the save. Looked like that one might have hit the post with the way it bounces. Wildman somehow or another keeps that.
They're going to say he stepped over.
They're going to say he stepped over.
I thought he kept his toe.
Yeah, the other ref didn't even call it. That guy came from behind and called it. As it's going to be Schaefer. He'll take it in. Pass it off to Udell. Udell up to Frankel. Frankel holding it, defended it or defended by Sullivan. Now taking him to X. Frankel will pass it off to Udell. Defended by Bryce Leiden. Udell gets top side, passes it off to Schaefer. Schaefer being defended by Hayes. Oh, phenomenal
Hayes
defense by
throwing a ton
Will
of checks
Hayes.
there. Gets him to back off. Here's Reed on the defense now.
It's Fleming. Fleming will pass it off to Udell. Udell down the alley. Bryce Leiden destroys the screen.
Great save, but we got a flag down.
Kroll made the save.
Roby just hits it out of
gooses
bounds.
it out. And the ref's talking it over. I think it's going to be on Leiden. Maybe not. I'm not sure. Yeah, it is going to be on Leiden.
Looks like he.
I don't like that call. I mean,
he brought him to the
screen,
ground, but it was honestly just Leiden's very big. We see him on the hockey rink all the time. He's always getting great hits into the boards, and I think that's just Leiden's size. He's naturally going to knock someone over.
I don't really know what the referees expect him to do there also, because, I mean, what if he didn't even see the screen? He's running through him and then buries him. That's
Leiden, another one of those multi-sport athletes, hockey and lacrosse. This Rams team really just has a lot of, all the starters play another sport, which same thing with Staples. You got Udell, the great basketball player. We see him all the time on different social medias, the Rune Report and all that. And
the Rune Report loves him. Apparently might be player of the decade in a couple years.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's Schaefer out in front. His
just
shot
high.
sails high.
I just saw there, Kroll, as we said, the sophomore, really taking a role in leadership. He was telling his team what they need to do there, and, the defense listens to him, which I think is just really impressive out of a sophomore. He's very young, but when he's out there, he holds himself like he's been on this team for, as long as, Roby, Leiden, all those other guys.
As Roby bats that pass down, he'll goose it out. Hayes getting aggressive. Now a double team on Halke. Halke still has the ball.
We're still
He's just
man
holding
down.
it. I think they got a timeout off.
Yeah.
That was, good ground ball by Halke, but then after it, he's just sitting there taking checks from two of the best defenders.
You don't want to be double teamed by Will Hayes, All-American last year, Denver commit, the Braden Roby, BU commit. Those are not the two guys you want to be double teamed by, especially, the Rams are man down and they're double teaming and just trying to get the ball out of his stick.
Then you've got a 5-on-3 behind you. Just roll the ball out if you need to. That's
behind the back.
you could have gone over the head there. You could have done anything you wanted
through his legs.
We've got 15 seconds left on the penalty on the Rams. So Staples, they'll have the restart right at the 50. I wonder if they even bother going into the man-up play with. I mean, they're probably going to wind up with probably only 10 seconds to run it.
I think here you just get the ball. Take some shots. I think that's your best approach right now with 15 seconds left in a man up. Just take some step downs, pass, step down. If you have a shot, take it, and then dump it off really quick. 15 seconds, it's, lacrosse is a very fast game, so you can get it done. I just don't, as you were saying, I don't think we have time to run a full play.
So it's going to be Halke picking it up top. So the Rams come out with their man down unit, the same as it was before. It's Harden, Hayes, Roby, Leahy, and then Sullivan, the short stick.
Justin Halke here.
On the restart, he will take it in, pass it off to Pryor, back to Halke. He'll fake the flip.
Hidden ball trick. Got the Rams.
The shot,
scores!
and Schaefer buries that one with the left. Tristan Schaefer with the goal. Looked like Hayes left his assignment there. Schaefer was able to bury that.
PJ, the hidden ball trick? It seemed to really get to the Rams there. Me and you saw it coming, but I guess, we have a lot better of an angle up here.
We definitely have a better
angle. There's a lot more hidden there from the Rams. So that's, we're all tied up here at 4 now. And, Staples really showing some momentum after the half.
So Schaefer nets the goal, his first on the day for the Colgate commit. And now it's all knotted up here at Dunning Field.
O'Neal goes through his legs on the other guy's legs on the face-off.
Now it's Skolnick who had it. He lost it, and now the Rams release the attack. So now
O'Neal really
more players on his back.
O'Neal really refusing to give up there.
So now it's going to be Max Hill moving through, defended by Schwartz.
Here's Udell.
Udell down low to Pillai. Behind with Clark. That's Udell up to Schaefer. Now it's Fleming.
Got some chanting going on from some little kids.
Yeah. Oh, I've reffed a lot of those kids in flag football, actually. I recognize a couple of them.
There we go.
Yeah.
Big turnout here today for the game, PJ.
Yeah, this is actually a very good turnout.
It's a beautiful night. I feel like it's finally warm out here. It's been so cold for so long. And
there was that one kind of fake spring where it was like...
Oh, it's like 80 degrees.
Yeah.
It's 70 degrees and got us all hopeful. My allergies are killing me now, unfortunately,
I can't
PJ.
even see.
Here's Mazza on the defense.
Great defense from Mazza. So he was defending Frankel. Now it's Pillai defended by Leahy. Leahy with some good defense off to Fleming. Defended by Schwartz. Good shove there by Schwartz. As Pillai will take the screen. Leahy was able to get over it, and Leahy causes the bad pass, but Udell is right there to back him up. That
Hayes
pass
picks
goes
it off.
straight to the stick of Will Hayes. He's got some of the best stick skills in the state, even with the long pole. So he'll clear that one with ease. Give it off to Laddick. Laddick to Lowe. Back to Laddick.
PJ, you're talking about, Hayes on the clear there. And, hate to admit it, I've actually, unfortunately, had to play against a lot of these Rams defensemen back when I played for the Darien freshman team back in the day. And these are not the guys you want to be trying to ride. Hayes, they're all very fast. And I'll tell you, PJ, their checks hurt when they hit you.
Yeah. I've had to play against a couple of them, not any of the hockey guys, but guys like Hayes in preseason. And
yeah.
Jeez.
I'll
I
tell
probably
you,
still have welts from it.
Leahy's checks, they hurt.
Yeah. It's going to be behind Rogan Lowe holding it. Lowe will dodge up the right pipe. He'll roll back to his left. He gets taken down by Swearingen.
You've seen Lowe go to the ground a couple times today.
It's now the pass out to Max Hill in the midfield. Campese stride with him. It's Hill. We'll pass it off to Udell. The Wreckers settle it down. Udell down the alley to his left. Pass it back to his right. He'll give it out to Pryor. Pryor is being defended by Sullivan. Now, it's going to be Pryor at X,
We got
defended by Sullivan.
Yeah, Shorty behind the net. This is a great opportunity for Staples.
It's going to be Pryor. He'll roll back.
Roby's right
Roby
there.
brings the double. It's Clark. He was open behind, but didn't decide to pass it off. As now Halke gets up top. That's going to be a moving screen on Udell. Yeah. Now the Rams with the clear. It's going to be Roby. We'll give it across to Crowbar.
Jack Kroll had a goal in the St. Joe's game last week. I would love to see him run up and take another one.
Oh, the pass from Leiden up to Brooks Wunderlich. Looked like it maybe got tipped by Pryor. Wunderlich still has it.
It goes to the ground. He's tackled.
You've got a whistle. I think we've got a timeout from New Canaan, though. Yes, we do. Great timeout by Coach Chip Buzzio with 3:18 left in the third quarter. Wunderlich was under a ton of distress. And Coach Buzzio was able to get the timeout.
Yeah, Coach Buzzio loves calling those timeouts, and he does them at great times. Whenever the Rams, they pick up the ball, it'll just be in like the flash of a second. I'll just get that timeout in, so the Rams can start with possession cleanly.
I always joke is, sophomore year, or Bryce Leiden's sophomore year, my freshman year. I don't know why I said it like that, but when Bryce Leiden was a sophomore, every single time he would take it over the midfield, Coach Buzzio would instantly go up to the ref and call a timeout. I don't know what it was about Leiden.
Leiden's got a shot too. We were talking about Hayes' shot earlier. All the defense really has great shot with their long sticks here.
Both Leiden and Hayes also had pole goals in that Staples game.
Yeah,
or not St.
Joe's. Yeah, that was really just defensive battle there, and the Rams defense and goalie, we could even say, really pulled out well for the Rams.
So now, both teams talking it over in the huddle, and now the Rams, who looked to be in the driver's seat for the entire first half, have all of a sudden, conceded their 2-goal lead. And now we're back to even, so the offense has got to get something going here. 3:18 left in the third.
Yeah, great game so far. You just see, looking down on the field, all the different camera and media people we got down there. It's really just great to see, you know, and it's great that it's such a close game.
How many? There's like 15
Oh,
people.
a lot of
down
cameras down there, PJ.
There's so many.
You know, we got
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I called it.
Hey, we got Des down there. Desmond Fitzpatrick. He's on the. Is he on freshman or
he is a freshman lacrosse
freshman
player.
lacrosse player. And films for hockey, football, and lacrosse. Great kid. Does great at all of it.
It's going to be Campese. He'll take it onto the wing, defended by Max Hill. This is probably the one short stick you'll ever see Campese match up against, but he's probably arguably the best short stick in the FCIC, and he's a freshman. Or, sorry, sophomore. He was a freshman last year.
Really?
That's
a great take there.
Wide, yeah. Phenomenal take by Wildman, but the shot goes just wide. Wildman is a freshman. I know that.
That's what you're thinking.
It's going to be Roeder on the restart, defended by Halke. Finn Roeder initiates the dodge from the wing. He'll pull it out as he drew the slide. It's now Campese looking to dodge.
This is another matchup I've really liked so far, is the Hill Campese one.
It's going to be Roeder. Looked like he was going to take it up top, then he pulled it back. Now Wildman at X. Wildman being defended aggressively by Marullo. Back up for Roeder. Now Campese. Campese goes to his left. Campese's shot got blocked out in traffic. It's picked up by Sandrew. He'll take it out and give it off to Marcus. Oh, heavy pressure from Gray. Wildman is now, it's passed up. It was Marullo. And Hayes looked like he was trying to goose it, but Staples able to pick it up. So now it's loose. Clark grabbed it there, running along the midline. Down low to Udell. Udell.
Staples barely got the touch in there last second.
Now Udell dodging. He'll go below the goal. Leiden right with him. Off to Pillai. Now it's Halke. Halke up top, defended by Campese. It's Halke dodges down low. Give it off to Schaefer. Schaefer across to Pillai. Pillai, quick move, but Leahy was right there with him. So it's going to be Pryor. Some kids getting yelled at by parents.
Just trying to get into the spirit of the game. Maybe the chants are violating the no names and no numbers rules, DJ.
Is it even? I think they were just saying the team, but
yeah.
I think, the thing about don't cheer negatively, just cheer positively or whatever.
Got to cheer for your team, not the others, is what they say. Staples holding for the last shot
holding
here.
this. They're just going to milk the clock.
Really low-scoring game so far, PJ. 4-4.
It's going to be Cam Pryor. They'll take the switch and put Hayes on him. Looks like Sullivan is locking off Schaefer here. With Halke up top now. Defended by Campese. Slide.
Halke gets the step. Swings it to Udell behind.
Now
feed to the
Pryor,
crease. Scores! Cam Pryor.
Cam Pryor with the goal on the cut. And with 13.6 left in the third quarter, the Wreckers go up by a score of 5-4.
Yeah, that was a great play there by Staples. Held the ball. They had the ball for a while. I think I looked over at the clock. There was like a minute left when they started holding it, and now 13 seconds left. It's gonna be really hard for either team really to get another shot, and unless O'Neal or the Staples forward number 12 can get a great fast break.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal cut by Pryor, the Tufts commit. As O'Neal wins that right out in front, and maybe that's
O'Neal gets tossed to the ground.
He gets tossed. That is
no whistle on the play.
Yeah. O'Neal takes it out.
Now we got a whistle with 3 seconds left.
4 seconds left.
The Rams got
it's going with New Canaan.
Just
after O'Neal had the ball, that's
they blew the whistle with
Wildman loses the ball on the ground. Right. He'll just goose it out with no time left.
Message will chuck it down the field and go to the fourth quarter here, PJ.
Yeah, so going in to the third, the second half, it was all New Canaan. They were up by a score of 4-2. Now, all of a sudden, heading into the fourth, it's a score of 5-4. And Staples has all the momentum here. It's both teams take the huddle. Tucker, if you're Coach Buzzio and the Rams, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to work on in this fourth quarter to get right back into it?
I feel like what really worked, we saw the Rams really had a great second quarter, and I think what was great about that was, we were talking about how they were just holding the ball. One guy would dodge, take a shot, and they would just keep circling around. And I feel like right now we're just really focused behind the cage. And I think, getting some more midi dodges. We've seen Campese, Schwartz, they scored both from up top. And I think that's just a great look. Obviously try to avoiding like a guy like Hill because Hill's such a strong player. But I just feel like we need more touches, other guys going to the net. And I think that's what I would do if I was Coach Buzzio right now in this situation, or at least experiment with that.
And then for Staples, I mean, all the momentum, they've been playing phenomenally, especially on the offensive end.
Right.
They've had a lot of cuts, and I think all of their goals have been on the doorstep. The Rams have played phenomenal on the outside, but I think, they've kind of lost inside. And I think, that comes as a result of not having a two slide, or maybe just
losing your guy. It's a
it's
lot of quick, dodge and just dump it to the crease, quick feed, and it's just what shows, great crease attackmen is what they're made of. We've seen we've seen Hulky. Hulky's had those two, and it just shows how strong he is on the crease.
Yeah, and Coach Harvey talked about in practice, when JV practiced with Varsity, that it's going to be those two slides on the doorstep that are going to kind of make and break this game if Leiden is able to play as well as he is on Adam Udell. And, I mean, that has come true, as it's going to be Skolnick.
Skolnick's really giving O'Neal a run for his money right now.
As he'll pull it out. Look off to Josh Marcus, the goalie. Marcus gave it over to Swearingen. Bear Swearingen.
Sold it right behind him. Just misses the check.
Sullivan on his heels still.
Schwartz.
As Schaefer wasn't able to grab that. Now he finally, for the Wreckers, they'll take it in and settle it down on offense. It's going to be Frankel. Ian Frankel, sophomore. Give it off to Fleming. Now Udell. And they'll go behind with Pillai. This is a very senior and sophomore heavy Staples squad. They've got, I think, just two juniors, or actually three, sorry. They've got Halke, Swearingen, and Clark, who have, kind of been only the impactful juniors in this game, as Udell shot from just about 12 yards out goes high. Now they're going to go to kind of a cloud look here from X. It's going to be Clark defended by Roby. This is Roby playing phenomenal. The catch on the doorstep was Frankel. Now Fleming up top. He'll pass it off to Schaefer. Schaefer being defended by Sullivan. He'll pass it off. Now it's behind with Udell. Udell defended by Hayes. He'll look for a pass out in front. That shot scores! Number 27, William Fleming, the senior. And he'll increase the Wreckers' lead to 2.
Yeah, that was a great look again. It's just another feed to, right on the doorstep pretty much. A little less there, but that was just a great shot and goal there by Fleming.
So Fleming on the cut. And once again, it's those cutters and those doorstep shots that are killing the Rams. And they go up by 2 on, I believe, I think 4-0 run unanswered in the second half.
Here's another fight for the ball at the faceoff action.
Yeah, scrum, it comes out
yeah,
with Skolnick. Looks like he's just taking all the draws, as O'Neal has dominated Jake Davis so far. Now it's Clark. He'll pass it off to Udell. Udell will settle it down for the Wreckers.
You know, that's a great thing for Staples. You know, multiple face-off guys. You know, it's great. You know, one guy might be working, you know, based off the style, and the other guy, one guy might work better against O'Neal or whoever they're playing against, you know.
It's going to be up top with Halke. Halke off to Wheel. Back to Halke. He'll take it down low. Defended by Mazza.
Got Maz at X. This would be a great time for Staples to dodge, but they're definitely going to be taking their time.
As Leiden comes on the slide, Halke will pass it up to Pillai. Pillai inside. The pass to Pryor. Hayes went for the overhead. The ball is on the ground.
Just missed that one.
Everyone's scrambling
Staples
for it.
comes out with it.
Harden. Harden's stick broke.
Oh.
He has to get off the field. Wonderlick picks it up.
Wonderlick,
now
the soccer
Brooks
player.
Wonderlick in transition. He's got speed, so he'll take it in. He'll take it behind.
Wonderlick's a great guy for those clears. You know, as I just said,
he's
he's soccer player. Soccer player's fast, meant to run down the field. You know, he's a great look for the Rams on clears. A great defensive midi.
Yeah, phenomenal speed there. Great capitalizing there to pick up that ground ball, especially unsettled with Harden scrambling off the field. It's going to be Matt Reed here holding the ball.
You know, PJ, do you think the Rams, you know, as I've been saying all game, kind of slowing down, taking a bunch of shots, but you think right now, since they're down 2, we need to kind of go to the goal and speed things up?
I don't think it's necessarily urgent. I think kind of play how you were, taking these shots, feeling it out, and just kind of aim for those corners and hope you get a little lucky. As Reed looks out in front, Wildman, and Wildman
with his
buries
second.
it. Gray Wildman, the freshman, with his second on the day. And all of a sudden the Rams get some momentum of their own, and they're right back in it.
You know what I like from Wildman is, even though he's in the tackman, Wildman comes up a lot. When he's on the crease, he's really high, and he even comes up at top and kind of plays like a midi roll up there.
So Wildman with his second on the day. He's been playing phenomenal so far, proving why he should be a starter as a freshman on this varsity squad. Something that New Canaan really hasn't heard of since Dylan Stevens, who graduated last year.
Yeah, really curious to see what Wildman ends up doing for his next 3 years in high school. You know, also a football quarterback. Curious to see where he goes with that. And lacrosse definitely his #1 sport, but like just all around as an athlete, he's got so much potential at such a young age.
Skolnick loses that ball there, but Wildman, I mean, I was talking to Sam Schoonmaker, who, shout out to him, he's injured with a torn ACL.
Sam Schoonmaker, great kid.
Yeah, he was saying that Wildman, he was kind of predicting that Wildman's going to be a 4-time All-American, which that would be something. That would be.
I wonder if that's ever happened before, 4-time All-American, PJ. That'd be
maybe like Brendan O'Neal or something.
Not you?
No. I didn't even see the fields for my freshman year. Or my junior year. Who am I kidding?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Telling you next year.
I'll get there someday. Club Lacrosse is calling my name. Dodging down the alley, it was Fleming. We'll give it back up to Frankel. The Wreckers sitting on this ball a little bit. It's going to be back over with Fleming. Defended by Sullivan. Fleming down to Udell. Now Schaefer out in front. Leiden with a great check. Thought he was about to take away there. As on the chase, they're going to say that Staples got it.
That was a great check there.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal check. Braden Roby likes to do that a lot when they roll back while he's in the V-hold.
Telling you, PJ, when I used to go against these guys, they did that to me a couple of times. Leiden definitely brought me to the ground a few times in my lacrosse career.
Udell dodging against Hayes.
Great
Hayes with
check.
a great trail check on the chase, and it's going to stay with the Wreckers once again.
That's the thing, like with the Rams, even though Leiden has been kind of the priority on Udell for most of this game, you can really put...
Phenomenal goal there.
And
the
a
flag flies. Who was that? I think that was Charlie Clark with the goal, the junior. Does he net that one past Kroll? I think they're going to maybe get Harden on the flag. It was a big hit.
That's Harden for you. Same thing on the hockey rink.
So the Rams will go man down.
Yeah, it was Harden.
Now this is maybe not. Maybe there is no penalty after it.
No, Harden's down.
Yeah, Schwartz is coming off. He went out there.
1 minute. Okay, thank you.
So now it's important here for the Rams that JT O'Neal wins his faceoff, unless they're just giving it to Staples. I don't know if that's necessarily allowed.
Definitely some confusion here.
I mean, when the Rams got one with the delayed penalty, they slid to go to the faceoff. So
yeah, it's very interesting. I'm not totally sure what the rule is on that one, but so you got Staples here. You got Udell up top.
So it's going to be Clark. Clark swings it down low to Schaefer. Schaefer back to Clark. Now Udell.
Staples really experimenting with Udell all over the field.
Yeah, I think they're just going to hold this one, let the clock drain.
Got 40 seconds on the penalty, so.
Yeah. You know, and with a 2-goal lead, you don't want to give New Canaan any chance of getting back into this one. It's going to be Clark. He'll swing it down low to Schaefer. That pass goes out of play on Pryor.
Out. Pryor, I thought he had that one for a second. Yeah. It's hard to see from up here in the booth, but
it's just what the Rams needed, a little bit of a miracle. They got it right there, which should have been a very easy pass and catch. Turned into a turnover. Now the Rams trying to clear against the Staples. Man up. Lyden gets
right through the middle. They sandwiched him there, and he still got through.
Lyden, looked like he was about to shoot it. He's going to give it off to Wildman. And the penalty releases.
It's the roll dodge.
Wildman escapes 2 defenders. He'll give it off to Campese, and the Rams getting some momentum of their own. Campese off to Matt Reed. Reed take it down low. Defended by the short stick of Cam Pryor. Pryor's been playing both ways for a majority of this game. He's got to be exhausted.
5 minutes left. Lacrosse, as we've said throughout the game, it's a very, anything can happen. It could be 30 seconds left. You can net 2 goals, and it really doesn't matter. But I really think the Rams need to start going as Roeder goes high on the shot there, but Rogan Lowe's back there for the chase.
Lowe back there looked like it was a trail check from Sandrew. It's going to be Rogan Lowe off to Matt Reed. Reed's going to settle it down, look to dodge the shorty of Pryor. Reed dodges up the pipe. He'll pass it off. And now Campese. Campese hitches, gets topside. Campese shot.
What a
save
by Marcus.
Phenomenal save by Josh Marcus.
Marcus really putting up a show.
So he'll pass it off to Swearingen. He'll give it up.
It's Knesic.
To Knesic. Udell is going to hold this one. 4.5 to go. As the Rams try to surmount a 2-goal deficit. Staples playing phenomenal so far. It's Halkey going to give it off to Wheel. Wheel back to Halkey. Now Schaefer comes in.
Staples really taking it slow here.
It's going to be Halkey down below, defended by Sullivan.
This is PJ, like Connecticut doesn't have the rule with the shot clock, but
yeah,
New York does. And that's when that shot clock can play in your favor in moments like this if you're the Rams, but at the same time as, for Staples, for example, that could really harm you if the shot clock's not in your favor.
Yeah.
What's the time on the shot clock?
It's 60 seconds as soon as you get into the box.
Okay. So you get a minute.
Yeah.
That's still a fair amount of time.
Yeah. I think, apparently there are rumors that Connecticut might add it next year. Obviously, that's not confirmed, but
how would you feel?
That's kind of what the suspicion.
Do you like that idea or no?
I think it's got its positives and negatives. As a defensive guy, I like it because, it's fast-paced. But at the same time, New Canaan, they love to settle down their offense and take as much time as they need. I
was an attackman back in the day, so there's where we are. We don't agree on something, PJ. Which doesn't happen very often.
It's going to be Udell, defended by Roby. Will go down low. The Rams start the
Roby
double.
Picks it off.
Phenomenal stick by Braden Roby. It's Kroll now.
Kroll not afraid to use his legs.
Kroll running it through the field. He'll look up to Hayes.
It's Hayes in stride.
Hayes will catch it. Hayes. That one gets taken away. It's loose.
Staples comes up with it.
Oh, deep twig by Rogan Lowe. Now it's on the sideline. It's going to go out of bounds. I think that's going to be staying with New Canaan. Oh, they're going to say illegal procedure.
Staples
and
ball.
Going to Staples. Wow.
New Canaan really has to be strong in the right here. Down to 2.5 minutes, just under.
Never mind. It's
nope.
going to New Canaan. They're actually the other way.
New Canaan ball. There we go.
Now Rogan Lowe, or sorry, that's Matt Reed, dodging against Finn Edwards, the freshman. Reed gives it off to Campese.
Do you think you start speeding up the pace here now, PJ, with just over 2 minutes left in the game?
You definitely have to. You got to get something. As Wildman down the alley, his shot wide. Campese will be back there. Interesting substitution. Looks like you've got Brady Mazabras on for the Rams. I think he's playing midfield, but he is an attackman, so he's very good down low. As it's going to be Wildman. His shot goes high. Laddick is back there. 1:55 left to go.
This is what the Rams need, though. Just keep taking those shots right now. It's time definitely is not in their favor, but it's definitely possible.
So it's going to be Laddick dodging. He'll pass it off to Campese. Campese sends it across to Matt Reed. That one got tipped away by Edwards, but they're going to say that it's Staples' ball. Maybe Reed just couldn't quite reel it in. Not sure. As it's going to be Swearingen who will get the restart.
Now with under 2 minutes, Staples, they have to get the ball in the box and keep it in there. So it's definitely another rule that's harder for them to do, but it definitely could play in the favor for the Rams.
Wildman playing very aggressive on Marcus. Marcus sails a pass. Somehow or another, Swearingen gets there. I think we're going to get a timeout from Staples.
Minute 19 left in the game, 7-5 Wreckers.
Anything can happen in lacrosse. I mean, obviously, it's called the fastest sport on 2 feet for a reason, but Staples looking very good right now. Scores 7-5. Very low scoring affair. I mean, when you got some phenomenal goalies, right? Josh Marcus, he has been playing out of his mind. This game, I think, would easily, the Rams would easily be winning this one if not for Josh Marcus. I mean, he is playing out of his mind.
Yeah, the Rams defense and both goalies, have played great in this game, but I just think it's, I just think Adam Udell and Staples have really done a good job kind of dissecting this defense and finding guys on the crease to feed.
Yeah, and just, talk to Bill Brown here in the box. He said that he's got Josh Marcus for 9 saves.
9 saves for Marcus.
Only 5 goals allowed. That is a phenomenal performance, especially for a player in high school. I mean, college, that's kind of expected, but high school obviously is the best goalie in the nation, or at least has a case for that, I think.
For sure.
Inside Lacrosse has him at like number 10, second goalie, but I think NLF had him at number 1 in goalies. So, interpret that how you want.
Big shout out to Bill Brown in the box up here with us.
Please, ladies and gentlemen, we ask everyone to please stay off the field after the game. Once again, all spectators must stay off the field at the end of the game. Thank you for your highly anticipated cooperation. Thank you.
It's going to be Cam Pryor.
PJ, I would love some overtime in this game. It's been a great game so far.
I would love some overtime.
Really enjoyed my time up here, and it's been great so far. So I really love it. But, the Rams definitely need to step things up here. Rams trying to argue that he stepped out.
Saying that he stepped out. Kind of looked like it, honestly.
So Staples gets the touch, and they got to keep it in now with under 2 minutes left.
The double team comes. They force a turnover. Roby gooses it out to Leiden.
Under a minute play. Leiden gets taken down. Flag down. That could be huge for the Rams. Sullivan picks it up.
Sullivan moving through the midfield. He looks off to Schwartz. Schwartz stepped down.
Just
wide.
Oh. Bounce shot by Schwartz there. Great take.
Schwartz already has 1 on the day. And they're going to give the man up to the Rams here. 47.5 left, so they need to act fast. And then they're going to need to win the ensuing face-off and set up their offense.
That's a great time in the Rams' favor for a penalty. Definitely not for Staples, but, if they can net one quick, if they run a quick man-up play, it could really turn out. O'Neal has to win that face-off, though, if that does happen. Got a 30-second penalty for the Wreckers.
So here's going to be Rogan Lowe on the restart. Staples stands, slamming their feet against the bleachers, making some noise. It's going to be Wildman across to Campese. Campese to Roeder. Now with Laddick.
Rams got to get going here.
Campese back down to low. Now Laddick to Roeder. Roeder.
Under 30 seconds
Off
left.
to Campese.
Campese
Campese
shot
shot saved by Marcus.
Marcus and Campese
Now
definitely.
Roeder one-hand pass to Wildman. Wildman, oh my goodness! Josh Marcus with another save.
And another flag down here, though. What a
That
save
was a
by Josh
phenomenal
Marcus,
save.
TJ.
Oh my goodness. He single-handedly just kept the records in this game
Wow.
once again. Geez, I don't know what they're going to do without him next year, but
Just when I thought, oh, maybe we've been talking about Josh Marcus a little too much there, he goes and does that.
geez Louise.
Josh Marcus, you can't, he's just such a good goalkeeper in this game.
So now Staples, it's going to be 6-on-4 for a second, so the Rams probably going to pass it up top and
Only
let
18
one
seconds
rip.
left here, PJ.
Yeah.
You just got to get a pass in. Penalty just released from Staples behind. Over to Laddick.
Laddick
Laddick
shot,
scores!
Nets that one. Henry Laddick nets it, and now 11.3. The Rams need nothing short of a miracle to tie this one up and send it to overtime.
Big face off here for O'Neal, as I was saying earlier. But, Staples definitely going to play this face-off defensively. They're going to have their guys all the way up to the end of the wing. O'Neal just needs to get this face-off and try to hope for a fast break here. That would be huge here for the Rams.
Biggest moment of possibly his entire high school career here. JT O'Neal on the face
Colby commit.
against Skolnick.
Skolnick's done a great job on him so far. O'Neal wins it.
Wins the face. He
just
can't pick it up. Hayes will
Hayes
grab
gets
it. Oh,
Ball
no,
goes
he
over.
won't. Will Hayes.
2 seconds. Got to get a shot, Hayes.
He's got to shoot it. No. It got tipped by Wildman, but it won't
storms
go.
the field. Staples takes this one 7-6 over the Rams, PJ.
That was a phenomenal game.
That
I
was
think
a
that might
thriller.
have been the most electric game I've ever called in possibly my entire high school career. That was a phenomenal game. Unfortunately, New Canaan Rams do lose after some last-second efforts. But Staples, they played incredibly, especially that third quarter where they really came back to life. But, I mean, gosh, how can you not talk about Josh Marcus in this game? 2 doorstep saves in the final minute, and
Yeah,
that did it in for the Rams.
Josh Marcus, definitely my player of the game after that showing. I think he ended up with 11, 12 saves there in that game, and that's just ridiculous numbers there.
So Bill Brown has Josh
12
Marcus in
12.
for 12 saves. And yeah, definitely so many fantastic saves from Josh Marcus. As that will do it here from us here at Dunning Field on NCHS Athletics, a production with SC Productions. Thank you all for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Saturday, I think, against Rumson Fairhaven.